What's going on, good people? It's your boy John, the Date Dr. Clark, and I'm coming to you live because I want to get something off my chest. On a weekly basis, I see these type of things within my office from a lot of my male customers. On a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis, I see this a lot from just males overall on social media, whether it's in the news, whether it's on the media, or just whether it's just in basic life. A lot of times we see a lot of guys that frown upon counseling. A lot of times we see a lot of guys that frown upon therapy overall. And I kind of want to more so chat about why it's that way because I'm a guy. So something to think about. Think about guys or ladies, if you're listening, no matter who's listening. Imagine what that average uncle or that father figure may have mentioned to us growing up as a kid, growing up as a toddler. Suck it up, dust it off. You'll be fine. Don't snitch. Snitches get stitches. You shouldn't tell on your person. You shouldn't tell on anybody else. You won't be able to make friends by doing that. Suck it up. You'll be all right. Get back up. You know, you're a man. I don't want you to grow up to be soft. I don't want you to grow up to be a punk. I don't want you to grow up and be able to tell on anybody. So think about it for a quick second. 3, 2, 1. Now I'm not going to repeat everything I just stated, but I kind of want you to mesmerize with some of the things I just stated. Don't be a punk. Suck it up. Brush it off. You don't need a band-aid. Those are for sissies. Those are for people that are much more feminine than we are. You shouldn't grow up to be a snitch. Never tell on anybody. Never trust anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, do you hear what it is that I'm saying? Do you hear what it is I'm trying to stick into your mind? Do you hear what it is that I'm saying that can possibly help you to understand who this person is that's sitting next to you, that you're watching this video with, that you're constantly laying beside each night, that you're having the deep, most darkest struggles and having a basic conversation with? That's number one. That's one of those basic reasons why the average guy is refusing to want to go to counseling. Part one, because he was taught that he should be able to do everything on his own. He was taught that he should not be able to snitch. He was taught that he should just brush it off and suck it up and hope and pray that he's able to sweep it under the rug. That's one of the main reasons as to why the average guy, refuses to go to counseling. Part two. Now we're up in the adolescent stage. Now we're up into the early 20s. Now we're up into that place where we've already graduated. And now it's time for the dating scene. Now it's time to find our bride to be. But what have we been taught up to this part? What have we as guys been taught up to part two? We've been taught that we now need to be the head. We have been taught now that we need to be the provider. We have been taught now that we need to be the protector. And when there's a head, it symbolizes some type of supervisory type role. It symbolizes some type of leadership role. And if you think about it, does the average leader, does the average supervisor has somebody that he or she has to report to ask for conviction, need to report to ask for what he or she should do? Does the average leader and or supervisor have somebody to report to by saying, hey, I want to go this route? No, because if you think about it, the average leader, the average supervisor is the average leader or the average supervisor who may not have that initial outlook to go to for advice, for guidance, for suggestions, because he or she has to make that initial decision. Ladies and gentlemen, do you hear what it is that I'm getting at? Sometimes in life, we're taught some of those unfortunate things. Sometimes in life, we're taught some of those misfortunate things. Sometimes in life, we're taught some of those unapologetically type things that strongly encourage us not to seek guidance, that strongly encourages us not to seek help, that strongly encourages us to try our best to do everything on our own, which definitely builds pride, and that builds anguish, and it builds the unfortunate in us. And that's just part two, ladies and gentlemen. Part three. Suggestion 3 as far as why the average guy may frown upon counseling. Think about it. Imagine that feeling being in the principal's office, knowing that you just acted out in class. Imagine that feeling being in the principal's office, knowing that they're getting ready to call your parents, knowing that they're getting ready to take away all your toys, all your money, all your gadgets, knowing that they're getting ready to have the biggest whooping in your life because maybe an accident happened in the classroom, or maybe you just did something on purpose and thought that maybe you wouldn't get caught. But you did. What's now going through your system? It's fear. Some of you may say, well, why would my guy, why would my husband, why would my significant other fear going to counseling? It's simple. Why do we fear anything? We fear a lot because we're afraid of the not knowing. We're afraid of what may happen. We're afraid of what may happen. We are afraid of what may happen, what she may find out, what he may find out, what this counselor may discover within me, what this counselor may force me to say to my significant other, what this counselor may find out that maybe it's going to cause my marriage and my relationship to be even worse than what it is. What this counselor may find out about that may confuse me with a lot of shame within myself. What this counselor may find out that can cause even more havoc into my current situationship, into my current relationship, into my current friendship, and most importantly, into my current marriage. Ladies and gentlemen, we kind of went over the main three things as far as why it causes the average guy not to want to consider counseling. Sometimes it's just genetic makeup. Sometimes it's a matter of how he was raised. Sometimes it was a matter of what has been instilled in his head from a younger age up to the start of this video. The second thing is a matter of what he was designed to do, what he was taught to do in the early stage of his adulthood, what he was taught to do as far as being a provider, being the head, being the leader, being the supervisor. What he was taught to do, ladies and gentlemen. That's not where it stops. Last but definitely not least, the main thing as far as why he refuses counseling is because he's afraid what may happen. He's afraid of what you may find out. He's afraid what this counselor may withhold out of him. He's afraid of the what if. So, of course, I'm going to leave you with something in token of that. Of course, my video talks about why the average guy refuses to want to do counseling. I'm going to leave you all with a final thought or the final conclusion as far as how you can possibly get your guy to want to do counseling. So with that being said, it may be a bit of a challenge for this to work, but it's still worth a shot. Sometimes as guys, by me being a guy, sometimes we fear going to see this particular counselor. Sometimes we feel like this person might be very bashful towards the average guy. And of course, it makes us not want to be comfortable. So sometimes you really have to study this counselor. Sometimes you really have to invite your significant other out to maybe one of these counselors' group sessions. Sometimes you should really invite your counselor out to maybe one of these little pop-up events that you may have this counselor at. Sometimes you want to send like a little friendly, discreet invite so maybe your significant other could follow this counselor. But another avenue to go is to pray. If there's one thing I really realize in life is that when we pray, we begin to see differences. Now, I don't mean pray as in demanding or commanding. I mean pray as in asking for forgiveness, being humble, asking the Lord to put particular people in your life, ask the Lord to provide you with strength, ask the Lord to provide you with guidance, ask the Lord to provide you with uplift, ask the Lord to allow you to be able to release that steering wheel so he can now take over. Because when you allow the Lord to take over, he begins to do remarkable things. I'm going to say it again. He begins to do remarkable things. And when you release that wheel, you give the Lord strength. You give the Lord the ability to do what it is that he needs to do. You give the Lord the ability to show that, you know what? Miss such and such has allowed me to take over and allowed me to take the wheel. So I can now bless this place. I can now bless this friendship. I can now bless this relationship. And I can, most importantly, bless this marriage. Ladies and gentlemen, we've kind of chatted about the three things as far as why the average guy may refuse to go counseling. And then I ended it off with 3 or 4 different things as far as how you can convince your guy to actually want to take heed of maybe want to go to counseling, such as prayer, such as bringing him around this particular counselor, such as bringing him around this group interaction, such as showing that maybe counseling is really not that bad. And it's not all about bashing. It's more about taking accountability. It's all about forgiving one another. It's all about remembering to compromise. It's most importantly about remembering to communicate effectively. And most importantly, it's all about remembering to have fun. It's been a pleasure. Feel free to follow me on all my social media platforms, whether it's Instagram, whether it's social media, whether it's Facebook, at John the Date Dr. Clark. Feel free to look me up on my personal website, www.datedoctor.com. That's DATEDOCTA. Feel free to look on the box that's on this video, and it'll guide you directly to my page. All right, good people, it's always been a pleasure. Share this video.